This October full moon is the third of the 4 consecutive super full moons this year. And this full moon is also the closest to the Earth and the biggest one of the year. This means that this super full moon is definitely impacting all of us, physically, mentally, and emotionally. In this video, I will share 3 signs that this super full moon is impacting you. I'm Masami Covey. I'm a health intuitive, functional nutritional therapist, and a moon enthusiast. I lead women in rediscovering the wisdom of living with the lunar cycles during and beyond menopause. If you're interested in lunar cycles, learning about moon wisdom and how the moon impacts various organs, systems, hormones, and even fascia, please subscribe to this channel and give me a thumbs up so others can find me in the YouTube universe. This super full moon will accompany unusually high and low tides later this week into the start of the weekend, causing some of us to feel increased internal fluid fluctuation, especially in your fascia and lymphatics. After all, at the molecular level, we are 99% water, and in its gel-like phase, the water in our bodies communicates through the network of fascia spread throughout the body. So we will most certainly be influenced by this super full moon. And some of us are already feeling that inside our bodies as the moon adds more reflective light and come closer to Earth. In this video, I will talk more about these fluid fluctuations in terms of what you may be experiencing physically and more. Adding another element to this super full moon energy on October 17th, the sun, earth, and moon will be very closely aligned, but technically there will be no lunar eclipse. There are several different ways to calculate eclipses, so some sources are listing this super full moon event as a penumbral lunar eclipse, despite the fact that we will not be able to see the Earth's shadow on the moon. In any case, because the sun, earth, and moon are very closely aligned during this full moon, this carries a similar eclipse energy as last month's lunar eclipse. One thing to remember about lunar eclipses is that they tend to throw our rhythms off and tip our homeostasis. So I encourage you to reflect on how last month's lunar eclipse impacted you. I will put a link to the video I did on 5 signs that the lunar eclipse is affecting you, so you can review it again. Well, I have mentioned a few things to consider already for this full moon, but let's go over 3 signs that this super full moon is impacting you. Number 1, fluctuations in your inner fluids. Whether it's edema, which is the swelling from too much fluid trapped in the body's tissue, or runny and drippy sinuses, you may be noticing some dysregulated fluid retention in various areas of your body. These fluctuations in your internal fluids may also be showing up as frequent urination and or excessive thirst, and even stiffness and tightness in your fascia. You may wake up with puffy eyelids or can't sleep through the night because of the postnasal drip or even congestion. I have been guiding a group on a 21-day cleanse, and this is the fall cleanse, and this full moon energy is spotlighting the imbalance of our internal fluids. So if you are noticing any or all of these watery signs, this full moon is definitely impacting you. Let's now go into sign number 2, that this super full moon is impacting you. Skin, specifically skin issues. The external layer of the skin, as well as the internal skin, like mucosa or mucous membranes, may be impacted by the super full moon. You might have also noticed signs and symptoms of SIBO, leaky gut, technically called the gut permeability, GERD, or so-called acid reflux. On the skin, some of you might be noticing itchiness, dryness, rashes, eczema, cracked heels, and other skin-related symptoms like saggy skin. These skin conditions have connections to bile stagnation, or some are calling it the toxic bile, but they may have connections to your fascia as well. And in fact, they do, and the lymphatic system as well. In my practice, though, when the client is noticing outer and inner skin irritations, first, I recommend removing all dairy and gluten out of the diet for a couple of weeks. There are other irritants that we consume often, like corn and soy, but dairy and gluten are the two that you want to look at first. And with such an energetically powerful super full moon, you may be dealing with heightened expressions of parasitic infections and strange cravings. So this gives you more of a reason to remove these inflammatory foods. Okay, now let's look at sign number 3, that this super full moon is impacting you. This full moon feels like a culmination of the last 5 months, which has been quite intense and choppy for many of us. And reflecting back to the last 5 months, many of us have been energetically releasing and removing old ideas, patterns, and outdated labels that were put on us, or that we put on ourselves. But here's the kicker. This super full moon illuminates the areas of your life that require additional letting go and processing. And this heightens our frustrations. It just feels like a never-ending release and never-ending processing, doesn't it? I certainly feel that. I feel like I've been spending years, but especially the last 5 months, removing and releasing and noticing all these old patterns and habits. So, many of us have been consciously letting go, right? And removing so many patterns because we are good students of this earth school. But here is my recommendation for those of you that feel frustrated with and exhausted from these never-ending earth school teachings, especially right now. Just make a mental note of these seemingly never-ending patterns and old behaviors, and then do nothing to address or fix them during this full moon period. So full moon isn't just this one-day event. It builds up several days before and several days after. So this super full moon, since it's very close to the earth and it's very powerful for us internally, this will continue on well into the weekends, into the Sunday. So you have plenty of time to just kind of sit back with this energy. So don't spend time contemplating on these old patterns and things that this full moon is illuminating for us to possibly feel like fix and address. Don't write them down. Don't even try to process them after you notice them. This super large and bright full moon is simply showcasing them for you, but you do not need to process or release any of them right now. Simply thank the reflective light and choose activities that give you much needed joy and laughter and even some rest. Go for a walk in the woods, walk the beach, take naps, watch the clouds form and change shape. So to summarize the 3 signs that this super full moon is impacting you, number 1, you may experience fluctuations in your inner fluids. Number 2, your skin may express some of your deeper chronic inflammation. Number 3, you might feel frustrated with the never-ending energetic releases, physical detox, and emotional clearing. But remember, you do not need to always jump in to fix and shift what's getting illuminated. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and give me a thumbs up so others can find me in the YouTube universe. Thank you for watching. Namaste.